I'm Jeffrey Weiss from the Preparedness Network. This module is on communication. After a disaster, there are three primary things that you will want to do when it comes to communication. One, you will want to know information from outside the area that was impacted by the disaster. Two, you will want to be able to communicate with people within the disaster area. And three, you want to be able to communicate with those people outside of the area in case you can't reach those within the disaster area. In this lesson, we will be talking through the items that you will need to know to communicate in the first 3 days after disaster happens, and what essential items you should have in your bug out bag. So what are some of the communications tools? First one is a hand crank radio. A hand crank radio can normally go for around $20. I'll have some links down below. You want to get one that has an AM, an FM, and a WB so you can pick up weather stations. With a hand crank radio option, you not only have the ability to charge the batteries internally, but it also has a USB port for other devices and charging, like your cell phones, flashlights, or other devices. Some also come with a flashlight and have a multi-tool. The one on our link does. Having access to a radio is important when you're going out because you need to have and receive signals from the outside of your area so you have information in real time. The next item is cell phones. After disaster, your cell phone is going to serve a lot of purposes. Assuming the communications are still available, this will be an important tool to have access to. Worst case scenario is the cell phone towers will be down and you still can text through those towers. Even if you can't make phone calls, you are able to receive a signal. Try getting out to texting, still may be available. It also is important to note that many of us have become dependent on having our contact information stored in our phones. I recommend keeping a small piece of paper outside of your cell phone in case that important numbers and individuals you cannot reach and your cell phone is dead. We can't cover the cell phones without talking about apps. There are several apps that are important to keep on your phone. Try downloading local news apps. A lot of them still work even if a cell phone tower is down, to get news about the disasters, where it's safe routes, where shelters are going to go up, many other things. Apps like Zillow are communication software apps that allow you to turn your cell phone into a virtual walkie-talkie system. We use it with CERT. There also are companies like the American Red Cross that have their own apps, as well as government organizations like FEMA. You can also download certain apps that can tell you about disasters in your area. If your area is prone to earthquakes, like we are in California, then an earthquake app would be good. If you are in Kansas, then a tornado warning app is probably what you should download. So let's talk about documents. We have a whole video on documents on this course. I keep copies of my documents in several places. My first kept is in my bug out bag. I keep phone numbers for people I want to contact, both in my area and outside my area. If a disaster occurs, I have another copy of my documents in a Ziploc bag in my freezer. The freezer is the coldest place in your house and is also reinforced with 3 inches of steel on all sides. If your house burns down or collapses, the safest place is the freezer. Also, the first responders know about freezer bags. Other documents I also keep as money, my glasses, copies of my insurance, identification cards, as well as phone numbers in there as well, prescriptions. I keep these documents in a Ziploc bag in my bug out bag and a small copy in my cell phone in there. Plus I have a USB drive that I have available as well. So let's talk about Baofeng two-way ham radios. A Baofeng radio is a ham radio that can also serve as a two-way radio. Ham radios can get a repeater in your area and you can actually get a signal to it. You can technically communicate with anybody around the world with this device. These are pretty affordable at about $125. Note, with ham radios you do need to have a license during normal times to operate and transmit over different repeaters. If it's in a disaster, you are legally allowed to transmit, but it's important that you practice with these devices, as this is a particular requires programming, and it's important you understand how to use these items, how to send, and how to know which bandwidths to get in touch with people. There are courses available online that will train you on how to get your license, and they are pretty affordable, from around $30 and up. The licenses themselves run about $25 to $30, and you can test in your area. I'm also seeing that many testing centers allowing you to go over Zoom and test there, so that's an option as well. Let's talk about Walkie Talkies. Kids love these, and they're very easy to use. So keep these in your bug out bag and your kids' bug out bags. That way you can still have ways of communicating. These have different channels, so be sure that you're all on the same channel when you talk. There is a program called OK Need Help that is basically the whole concept there. It's just a sign on one side which says OK, and then a sign says Need Help. This concept would be that you put this in your window if you need help when fire trucks are running by and the first responders have no time to stop. That way they can drive around and do a quick assessment to find out who needs help. And if you're okay, let them know that too, so they don't have to waste time dealing with people who don't need any help. Next item that's very important is a whistle. So if you get stuck somewhere and you don't know where the people are, it gives you a way to make a big signal that catches people's attention. Next item is a reflecting mirror. This is incredibly lightweight and small. It allows you to signal someone who's searching for you. Very important, has saved many lives. The Garmin Inreach Mini. This is an item that is not necessary, but really nice to have. This item is a palm-sized satellite communicator that provides off-the-grid contact. It has two-way messaging, tracking, SOS capabilities, and many other things. Many people use these when off-roading. You can catch a satellite and combine this with your cell phone, and even if it's out of the cell phone area, you're able to get a GPS information and you can clearly see where you are. There is a monthly fee of about $10 to $12 to send and receive text messages. I got the SOS option on mine. If you just click one button, it will immediately transmit your location and information to a first responder close to you. I carry pretty much all of these items in my bug out bag. I know there's a lot of weight to this associated with this. If you want to reduce the weight down, I would prioritize the hand crank radio, the ham radio, the signal mirror, and the documents. Beyond that, cell phones is important, and it hopes that your cell phone will have a great signal and be able to operate. If you have any questions about any of the items that you see in this class, please do let us know. We're always here to help and answer any questions. I'll be seeing you on the next module, and thank you so much. You're doing great.